How long have you been recording there?
This is a turd right here. See this? Looks like a turd. 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 Need a. You wanna smoke this? You wanna burn this? You wanna light this down here? Just burn it. Burn it down.
You guys, I really need a card. My hands are off Kiki. I broke down the sufficient.
The activity.
Yeah!
That's an asshole.
Okay.
Alright.
Well,
I think that might be enough for a blunt. Some variety. Some sort of blunt.
that's a blunt.
Yeah, that should
That's a toothpick of a blunt, but it'll do. That's a fat ass joint. That's a fucking wicked joint. It's been months since I rolled a blunt. Oh, you guys, this is gonna be
straight up with you, if I'm riding in the car with Tyler, and if I ever see a Wauwatosa police officer,
I yell it.
I don't yell it, but like
I yell it.
Everyone in the car immediately becomes aware, and we don't yell it. But you do. But okay.
It's because it's scary.
But like it's not even that. It's not even like okay, yeah, it is scary. But like it's not like you yell about it. But like you see it and you're just like
it's just like
it just hits your chest and you get a different feeling for a second. You're just like, all right, everyone play smooth, play it smooth. Everyone play it smooth. And
everyone.
And then whenever he passes, then it's like whatever goes back to normal. But like
or
as soon as you see it, like it's for that
shit.
second when you see him, you're just like, oh shit! Like you instantly think like the worst. Like
it's like the black dude from Snow on the Bluff, where right after they robbed that dude, and then they're throwing all their sweatshirts out the fucking car and shit. They're like, get right, get right.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude.
No, it's like it's just kind of like you just play it smooth, don't, and then you know. Hopefully you don't have some dumb bitches in the back seat.
Not wearing your seatbelt.
Now, police abusing their powers, that never happens, right?
First off, it can't happen to me because I'm not black.
No, that shit happens all the time.
All the shit happens all the time. They just, I don't know.
They like to, especially Tosa cops, they like to word their shit funny so that they can get people.
What do you mean
Like
word?
if you say they can't search you, they'll ask you like 3 times in a different way until they trick you. Like if they want to search you, they're searching.
They're gonna search
Just
you.
because they're gonna keep asking you, and you're just gonna be like, whoa, what?
But anyways, they try to trick kids, and they know how to do it. And I've seen it happen, and my fucking friends got tricked in the car with me. Like it just happened. Like shit's happened, and I just been like, no, and they're like, yeah, and I'm just like, no, you guys are fucking stupid. You guys are fucking stupid. And the rest of it is just like, kind of, like just racial shit.
Yeah.
I know they have a history of racial profiling.
Mm-hmm.
That's been no secret with the Wauwatosa Police Department within the past 20, 25 years. They have had numerous discrimination lawsuits brought against them by various people, mostly people of color, mostly young black males or the families of young black males. They were also sued by a fellow officer, a black officer, African American officer. At the time, what the situation was they had a Martin Luther King Day party, and I guess there was a lot of literature passing around amongst the white officers, not only from the rank and file officers themselves, patrol officers, but also through the chain of command, from the police chief to the lieutenants, to the captains, to the sergeants. There was literature passed around. A few of the individuals showed up in costumes depicting black people, showed up in blackface.
They painted their faces black.
Yes, showed up in blackface. At the time, a couple of them came, showed up to the party, and they were wearing stereotypical clothing that black people were wearing at the time. Mostly black men were wearing at the time. So,
Like what?
well, at the time it wasn't sagging, but at that time what was big was your hat cocked to the side. You wore a lot of team apparel. So that's what they showed up to work in. Some of them showed up in some African garb, some dashikis, so on and so forth. So, the Wauwatosa Police Department has had a history of racial profiling, of discriminating against people of color, discriminating against black people, black males. Like I said, they've had some lawsuits brought against them, class action lawsuits, civil lawsuits.
to do stupid things when it's not needed.
What,
We've never gotten in trouble.
Like
and
what?
What do you mean?
Stupid things that aren't needed.
Well, they'll stop people over for no reason. I remember one time, me and my friends, we were coming back from the Tosa, from the Tosa side, and we were on my block, on the border, on my block, and a Tosa PD truck pulled up, and we had to be questioned for about 30 minutes because they suspected that because it was two black guys and I was with them, that they had stole the bikes they were riding, in which both of them were my bikes. So because they didn't realize that there was another group of black people that people saw, not us. They didn't understand who they described, so they assumed it was my friends. Thus, not only were they dumb and nearly wasted 30 minutes to catch those other two people who stole their bikes, but they had profiled us. And those two kids probably got away.
But I have African-American friends who really try to avoid driving in Wauwatosa because they're stopped for no reason.
Usually, like, when I'm just skating or chilling in Tosa, I'll be skating around. I'll see the cops just drive and pass, like, slow down, look at me. And I know that they're, like, staring at me, so I'll just look at them back. And they'll just take off and try to act like nothing happened, and I just continue skating. They do this all the time.
They just watch you. Do they ever like make like several roundabouts? Like sometimes
yeah, like they'll come around the block a few times, stop. Like if I'm skating at like a bank or something, like, hey, you're not allowed to skate here.
Michael, you on break?
Yeah.
Okay. I was looking for you.
I'm sorry. And then like they'll come around the block. Like if I'm skating on like a bank or some crap, they'll say like, oh, you can't be on the property and crap. I tell them skateboarding's not a crime. And this dude was yelling at me saying skateboarding was a crime.
Probably maybe 20 years ago. Just riding down the neighborhood. It was at night, of course. I believe I was coming home from being out on that particular evening. I was pulled over, asked for my driver's license, gave my driver's license. Of course, a warrant check was done. Nothing came back. I wasn't wanted for anything. I was just given the third degree. I was asked where I lived, my birth date, which are normal questions, where I worked. The birthday question didn't bother me. The residence question didn't bother me. What I did question was where I was employed. Because first of all, that's none of their business. It has nothing to do with anything, whether it's a criminal activity or not. Secondly, I felt that as a black man, they wanted to know if I was working, or if I was unemployed. So, of course, I told them I was employed, where I was working. My second encounter with them was about a year and a half ago. Yeah, about 18 months ago. It was in the summertime. And where I live, I would walk. I would take a walk every night. It was just a circle I would do. It's probably a 1.5 mile, 2 mile circle, walk total. So I this particular night I was walking, I was on Ruby, I was heading eastbound on Ruby, which is, it ends in a cul-de-sac. So I made it all the way to the end of the cul-de-sac, made the turn like I always do. And I was coming back westbound, and an unmarked squad car was approaching me. I knew it was an unmarked squad car. First of all, I know how police vehicles look. As the vehicle was approaching, I noticed that there was just one officer in the driver's seat. And so he took his headlamp and he shined it on me. And once he shined his headlamp on me, I knew something was up right away. You know, he's going to stop me and ask me whatever. So he gets out the car, leaves his door open, gets out the car, just asked me to stop. So I stopped. I made sure that he saw my hands because it was, at night, it was dark. It wasn't a very well lit cul-de-sac because there's no street lamps. So you just basically have the lights from his vehicle and the lights outside lighting on homes. So I politely asked him, "Good evening, officer, how are you?" And I can't recall how he responded, if he said I'm okay or whatever. But he asked me, he said, "What are you doing in this area?" And so I asked him, I said, "Well, I just stay right over here." I gave him my address on Congress, and which was right around the corner. And I said, "I'll just out for a walk." I said, "I walk every night. Helps me sleep," so on and so forth. And I said, he said, "Have you been in anybody's yard? Have you been in anybody's driveway?" I said, "No." I said, "No, I haven't." He said, "Well, I had a report that a person fitting your description had walked up in one of the driveways of one of the residences and was looking through mailboxes and had went up to the door and was shaking doorknobs." And I proceeded to let the officer know. I said, "Well, officer, you know, that may have happened, but if it did, it wasn't me. As far as I'm concerned," I said, "I haven't done anything like that." And he asked me, said, "Well, do you have any ID on?" And all I had on was a t-shirt, shorts, and all I had was my keys in my pocket. I said, "No, I don't have any identification on me." I said, "I'm out for a walk." I said, "I didn't feel I needed to take ID with me. You know, I leave my wallet and things at home when I take my walks." I said, "All I have is my key in my pocket." So I made the motion to go in my pocket to get it. I could tell that he was very uncomfortable with making that movement. I said, "Okay, fine." I said, "All I have in my pocket is my key." You know. And he eventually let me go in my pocket and get my key. So I showed him my key, and he asked me my name. I gave him my name. It's my birth date. I gave him my birth date so he could do his check. Must have been detained, saying from start to finish, it was probably maybe 20, 25 minutes, half hour at the most. He says, "Have you ever been arrested?" I said, "Yeah, I've been arrested. Sure I have." And he said, "What were you arrested for?" I said, "I was arrested for possession of a firearm." And he said, "How long ago was that?" And I said, "Well, my son is 17. I said, "So it was before he was born." I said, "So it's been well over 17 years, probably close to 21 years. He didn't ask me the details, and I didn't give it to him. And he said, "Oh, okay." He said, "Fine." You know. He said, "Just make sure, you know, you're not, you know, going in people's driveways and, you know, shaking doorknobs." I said, "Well, officer," I said, "first of all," I said, "that may have happened." I said, "But I didn't do that." I said, "And I don't know who called, which one of these residents called." I said, "But I would be willing to, you know, we can go to their residence and be willing to tell them that not only was I not in their driveway, I haven't been in anybody's driveway." First of all. So secondly, I said, "Also, technically," I said, "you could, between the hours of," and I gave him the hours, between dusk and probably as late as midnight, I said, "You or any of your colleagues can stop me every night walking this same route every night." I said, "So as far as me being a stranger in this neighborhood, as far as me being somebody out of place in this neighborhood," I said, "whoever you talk to," I said, "they're telling you a damn lie." I said, "First of all, they lied. The first lie was that I was in a driveway looking at mailboxes and shaking doorknobs, which I haven't done. I said, the second lie was that I'd never seen this guy in the neighborhood before. I said, I know you asked that question. I said, because I worked in the law enforcement field, I know what the protocol of questions are. I know what the protocol of questions are. I said, so I already know, without you even telling me, I already know that you asked him this question. Have you ever seen this gentleman in this area before? And quite naturally, whoever called told you no. Well, if they live in this area, and if they're that nosy, where they're looking out their window every time they see somebody walking up and down this counter, I said, I know they've seen me before. They've had to have seen me before because they saw me tonight. This isn't the first night that person's seen me. I said, because again, I take the same route every night. I said, technically, you can stop me every night and question me about walking in this area, walking in this neighborhood. So our conversation went on for about another 5 or 6 minutes. I said, well, so I said, I just live right around the corner here. I said, I'm going to go on and go on by my way. I said, you have a good night. He said, you do the same. He said, I'm going to go up and talk to the homeowner that called. It's no problem. And I never looked back to see where he was going, anything. I went on home, and that was the end of that situation, that encounter with Tosa.
In Tosa, and it hasn't even, like, it wasn't even late. It was like 7:30 and cops stopped me and tried to search me for no reason. Like, I wasn't...
They just searched you?
Yeah, they were just like, we need to search you. And I was like, I'm not doing it, I'm walking around in the village.
What a lot of these Tosa kids do is they get an attitude. You know, if you get pulled over from a cop, you cooperate with them. You tell them, like, here, I can give you my ID. Like, this is, I just walked home from my friend's house, I have nothing on me, but, like, I don't really feel like you should search me, though, because I have nothing that isn't supposed to be in here. You know, and a lot of these kids that get an attitude and stuff, and it's like they get an attitude because, one, they think that cops, like, fuck the cops, you know, whatever, and that's, like, kind of like the media thing with, you know, teenagers nowadays, like, fuck the cops, like, whatever, but it's like...
Just be like, get the fuck out my face! 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 No, but for real, I would be like, get the fuck out of my face. And the cop kept on, like, asking me, well, can we search you? Well, can we just see what's going on? Can we look inside the car and see what you got? I'd be like, fuck off, dude. You have no reason. You have no reason.
They can basically
get off my
search
dick.
the car whenever they want.
No, they can't.
Did they end up searching you?
Yeah, they searched my bag and my jacket.
They didn't find anything.
No.
For illegal searches, like when I lived in Tosa, I'd walk home from a friend's house and there would always be a cop pulling us over. First of all, they have really, really dim lights, or maybe that's just me, but their lights are almost damn near off. And you'd see them, and they would pull up, you'd just be walking home with your friends, whatever, and they would come and be like, oh, there's been a lot of car break-ins. Can we search you? Because you match the identification of the people that we're looking for. And you'd be like, no, like or if you had a backpack on you, they'd be like, yeah, well, you might have some things in there, you know, blah, blah. And it'd be like, no, we didn't do it. We were walking from a friend's house. Like, no way in hell could we have been around when that happened. And what are the odds of us looking like them? Like, you know, like, I don't know, man. Like, no. And then if you say no, then they think that you have weed on you. And most of the time, we wouldn't. You know, because we'd just be like, I'm too tired, like, I don't want to go through your bullshit, like, just let me go, let me be on my way, and they'd shine the spotlight on you, and you'd be blinded by that for a second, be like, whoa, what's the matter with you, and you'd be like, nothing, can you just get that light out of my face, like, it's throwing me off, you know?
So they just randomly stop and search kids?
Yeah.
First thing as a young person that you have to ask is, why are you stopping me? Okay, and they have to give you a reason why they're stopping you. Okay, because they have to have that's what probable cause is. I'm stopping you for XYZ reason. That's why I'm stopping you.
They're probable, and all they have to do is
probable cause. It smells like weed. Oh, really? It smells like weed? Well, I don't smell any weed. Do you smell any weed, guys? No, we don't smell
works,
like weed.
bro.
They can't just be like, oh, it smells like weed in the car.
Yeah,
because then they could just be like, they could say that shit to everyone.
They
and then,
do, bro.
Bro, it doesn't work like that. It does not work. If the cop says it smells like weed, you could be like, bullshit, it does not smell like weed. And then, I know it doesn't smell like weed. And if you keep saying, I know it doesn't smell like weed, you can't search my car, you can't search my car, you can't search my car. No, you can't search my car, it doesn't smell like weed. I know it doesn't smell like weed. They're eventually gonna fucking leave. Police can't just be like, let me search your shit, unless you know your shit.
Okay, if they don't come out and say it right away, they just don't start doing whatever. Okay, officer, and be respectful. Officer, why are you stopping me?
Alright, ready? Okay, so one time at Tosa Fest, me and a few friends were sitting at Starbucks.
Like the streets are just packed, like there's just people everywhere, the roads are closed off, like no one can drive through. And so we go up towards Starbucks and Owen goes inside to get a drink.
Just sitting there waiting.
And these two cops come over and we're like, alright, whatever. And the first thing he says is, alright, I'm gonna need to see some ID. And we're like, why?
He was like, I need to know who to give the ticket out to for loitering. We're like, why are we loitering? He goes, so you guys are sitting here, no one's got anything going on here. You're just sitting here. You gotta either order something or get out. And we were like, well, we're just waiting for him to finish a drink. And he goes, okay, well, he's fine, but the rest of you have to leave.
I was like 13 years old. Like, you're gonna write a 13-year-old a loitering ticket? I mean, come on, that's a little over the edge. So he's like, you know what, just everyone leave. I'll let it go this time. Like, oh, thanks a lot, officer.
It was a little bit ridiculous for a Tosa Fest where everybody is out there doing stuff, just hanging around, and we were waiting for a friend. And what makes it even worse is across the street, not St. Matthews, whatever that parking lot for that church is, across the street from Starbucks, you could see glowing tips of people smoking pot and cigarettes over in that parking lot.
Would male officers search teenage girls sometimes?
Not that, because I mostly hung around dudes.
Okay.
So, I mean, not that I know of, but, like, most of the time they would send a female officer to search them. Because there's one in Tosa.
Okay. That's a good detail, I think.
I was about 13 years old. I was at the Macy's at Mayfair Mall. And the officers that came to the room and basically did the arrest, when they searched me, he like grabbed the underside of my bra and like shook it out.
But like they don't touch it, your chest, like you have boobs. Like, you know, they do a quick little one right here, and you know, the rest of it, your legs, they kind of feel up a little bit, but like that's because, like, you know, man or woman's legs. But like more so around, like, you know, the private area, they wouldn't really touch that area. So.
And then he was going to reach into my pockets, and at that point I said no, and I put my hands up, and he was like, what, do you have something to hide? And I told him, I will remove it from my own pockets. And he's like, no, you can't do that, I have to. And I was like, no, I will remove it from my own pockets. And so I removed it and gave him all my stuff. And, you know, as we got taken into the cop car and we're going down to the police station, he turned on the radio. And he jokingly was like, oh, do you guys like country music? And I replied, no, but you know, it's your car. And before I could even tell him it's your car, he said, well, that's too bad because you're the ones being arrested right now. And yeah. And then we got down to the police station.
So he taunted you?
Yeah, he was just extremely rude and very arrogant. Very, very arrogant. And my friend, she was wearing, they were probably like high-heeled wedges that were like maybe like this tall. And she was trying to get out of the cop car, and he looked at her and he said, now this is kind of funny to me, but I mean, it's mean. It's mean, nonetheless. And he says, I hope you don't ever have to get out of a cop car in those kind of high heels ever again, to my friend. Like, basically implying, I hope you don't get arrested for prostitution in the future, based on the way she was dressed and the fact that she was female.
PD can't do much. You just can't give them what they look for. Obviously, you give them the right motive and you give them the right suspicion, it's over. They'll know what to do. But if you're just normal, Or if you can hide it, it'll be oblivious.
He did like an illegal search of like car.
Yeah.
Yep.
He shouldn't have been able to do that, but he's
And I
dumb
was-
as fuck. He's stupid.
Wait, what happened to your knowledge?
He basically.
Because my
asked
battery's
him.
about to die. So. Huh?
He basically asked him if he could, and he said yeah.
But it was an illegal search.
Yeah, but he let him.
So
They can do whatever the fuck they want if you let them. They shouldn't be able to search me when I was walking around my block smoking a bowl, and
They tried to search you when you were walking around your block.
Yeah, they did, dude.
they did, and they threw my pipe down the sewer because they, I don't know, thought they had something better to do that they didn't. I don't know.
I feel that the Wauwatosa police seem to understand that the kids don't know their rights when it comes to searching.
You're dumb, like, oh, I mean, I guess you can search it, it's not even my car, but then, yeah, they're gonna search it since you said, I guess you can search it. They're gonna search it. You'd be like, no, you can't search my car. No, 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 no. Wait, no, you can't. No, let me, no, go home, no, let me leave, no. They're eventually gonna just be like, alright, have a nice day.
I mean, that's not how it works with police, but...
Yes, it does, bro.
If your car is on a public road, it is in public domain, and all police officers, if they want, have the right to search your car.
No, they do not, bro. They do not.
I think that if a kid isn't doing anything wrong and a police officer is harassing them to search when they're just on their way home, it's not fair, because most kids that do get searched don't have anything on them.
The police encounter you ever have, film it.
And I think that the police are starting to sort of associate kids that look a certain way with certain lifestyles, which isn't right.
Every single one from now on, film it. Because they will act.
Heard of kids being picked out of groups that are of a different race and being questioned aside from their other friends.
They will act completely different on camera, and you do not give up your phone.
And I don't think that's right.
Did you get any of their badge numbers?
No, because I was actually going to pursue, because, you know, he had, like, grabbed me, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, he was trying to search me, but it wasn't, I felt like it was a little excessive.
It's happened to me and a bunch of my friends. So.
Alrighty. That's all you gotta say?
So I have no respect for Tosa cops at all.
You believe? If you could describe them in one word, what would it be?
Assholes.
And then there's this one prick that walks around with that bulletproof vest all the fucking time.
Yeah.
It's short. No. Like I came in and I was trying to pay for a ticket, and I was like, my dad told me I could do this, blah 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 blah. And then the reception was being all like, you know, irritated with me, and then this dude comes, like, I see him from the back, and he comes out, and he comes walking up out of, like, from the back, comes walking up, he gets in my face, he's like, so what's the problem here? And he gets all in my face, and I was like, I took I went like this, I was like, first of all, this is what I said, I was like, first of all,
he's a bitch.
I was like, first of all, I'm paying some tickets. Second of all, you don't need to get all mad and come out here like you're about to do something. I was like, I'm just paying my tickets, you need to relax. The dude was just fucking flipping shit.
Dude, sit your ass down.
That shit made me so mad.
Police officer to relax, especially in Tosa, is like poking a bee's nest. Honestly.
I fucking did it. He didn't say shit, because what was he gonna do?
If you got balls and you just own that shit, sometimes they just act like little bitches.
Yeah, because you're like...
And this is Wauwatosa Police Department.
Correct.
How do
One
you...
officer. There was 3 officers. The other 2, they were very nice to me. They were all right. It was just that one, and he was fat too.
The cop that pulled me over, and he was really cocky. He's always had an attitude because they think they're better than us. They think they have more authority than they do. But I don't think they should enforce the law that bad. Instead of just giving a person a ticket or send them to jail, you let them slide one time, but they don't do that.
So how do you feel about the Wauwatosa Police Department as a whole, then?
As a whole, I can say that, you know, there are a couple of good police officers. You know, it's just it's a couple bad apples in the bunch.
There are some nice Tosa cops. There's a couple. There's like 2.
There's 2 nice Tosa cops.
There's like 2 that I fucking have ever seen.
some of them just take their authority too far. They're very arrogant in their job and blatantly disrespectful. I mean, even if you're arresting somebody, you should be respectful to them.
On 68th, and there was like this car parked in the driveway, and it was running, so I thought it was like the owner of the house, but there's 2 cops in there, and they're like, and I walked up to the car because I figured it was like their house.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Can we help you?" And I was like, and it was just like a normal silver car, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
I'd been like, "Yeah, you guys ordered a pizza, bitch."
Yeah, I was like, "Oh, I had a delivery. I thought you guys lived here." And I'm like, "Why are you sitting in the driveway like 2 cops in a normal car?"
Yeah, what the fuck?
I was like, "This is really fucked up."
All right, let's go.
All right, let's go.
Eli, move. Fuck. I'll pull up so you can...
Got it.
Last night. I pulled in the driveway, and all of a sudden this undercover cop just like creeps up on the other side of the street and just stops at my driveway. And like, this happens like a good, like, this is not the first time this has happened either. Like, this happened a couple times.
Really?
And, like, he just sits there and like, I'll wait to go in my house because like, I don't give a fuck. I'm seeing what the fuck this dude's doing.
How do you know it's an undercover cop?
Because it had the fucking mirror on that fucking weird ass mirror hanging up on the side. It was a blacked out like undercover cruiser, like.
So they're just spying?
I don't even know. Like, maybe they just stopped there, but like, cause like cops stop there a lot. Like, they just stop there.
At your house?
No, across the street.
Across the street from
at
your
my
house.
driveway. They stop there all the time, and they just stop.
And just wait.
I don't even know. Like, it could just be a spot. Like, I don't fucking know. Just and then like, I was trying to be smooth and like going up my stairs. There's like a window to like 62nd, like the other street.
Yeah.
And then fucking I like went out to my front window to look where he was, and I was like, where the fuck did this nigga go? Like, he just disappeared. Don't fuck with it. They're out today, dude.
Will over the other day because his he didn't have his license plate on, but he has a temporary license plate. You just couldn't see it in the back window.
Yeah. Anything happen?
No, they didn't care. They didn't say anything. We didn't like smoke in there or anything. We just had like I just had some booze with me.
Because this isn't about justice. This isn't about doing the right thing.
I don't
It's not about taking
Yeah.
responsibility for anything. You know, this is about...
In Jacobus Park, people have said that like there's been undercovers in there before, like posing as like teenagers and stuff.
Have you ever seen like a sketchy dude walking through the woods, following you? Have you ever felt like you were being watched, surveyed?
No.
No?
Not at all.
You never encountered Tosa undercover, or you believe?
Nope.
Alright. Have you ever seen, have you ever heard of that happening?
Not one bit. Nope.
Well, there were multiple times saw undercover, so and I don't really know if the other people knew they were undercovers. They probably just thought, oh, there's this guy walking in the woods with this dog.
Literally like 2 weeks later, that's when the Hammer killed Tosa. By the undercover Tosa cops. And I was the first one to get bust down. I will say this, fuck the police.
But if you looked at the, I had 3 experiences where we were, at Davy Jones' locker, for instance, before it got really, really hot. We would go there not on the weekends, weekday, because kids are in school, they have to do their homework after, so it was still safe to go there after, during the weekday. And so one time we were just chilling around, having a mini fire, and all of a sudden we see this guy with a baseball cap and like a sweatshirt on, like Levi blue jeans, and just looked a little too casual, like trying too hard. And what we all noticed is like he's walking a German Shepherd. Now, think about that though. One of 2 things. Oh, he has a German Shepherd dog. What are the odds of that? But if you look at the way he would go, hey, what are you doing? And the tone of his voice would be like as if it were a cop, and you would be like freaked out because you'd be like, oh, that's definitely a cop. Like, no way in hell do people talk that way, like normal people. You go, hey, what are you doing? Not, what are you guys doing?
They broke my knife and popped my bike on my tire and took a grinder.
The cops did?
Yeah.
And they were undercover?
With the knife that they broke, it took home that day. I was the first one to get bust down. Undercover came down and he just started searching me. Didn't say shit to me, just searched me. And I couldn't do anything. I tried to put my hands down. He said if I did that again, he was going to put my face in the rocks. So I was like,
shit.
He took out my eighth and my grinder and my knife. And he was like, oh, we got to go talk to the big guy about this. We went to the other...
The big guy?
Officer.
What do they mean by the big guy?
Sergeant. And they were just basically trying to get me to snitch on everybody. They wanted everybody's names.
Did the sergeant say anything do you know what division he was from, or was he just a cop to you?
He was just a cop to me.
Alright.
I was Sarge. And they gave me a card, and they were just like, call us and give us information, and you're gonna get tickets. And I ripped up the card, threw it in the river, and they never texted me. Or they never called me. Or told
Wait,
me to come
they said
down.
you were gonna get tickets for what?
For my eighth and my grinder.
Oh shit.
And my knife. That they broke. And gave it back.
They broke the knife and then gave it back to you?
Like a $40 knife.
Damn.
This past summer, you could take a walk through Hart Park and there would be 2 biker cops that you would see, or a biker cop and some suspect looking guy walking through the woods, so he wasn't undercover, just by his vibes. I don't know. You could always tell. And we were right about him, because that's when got busted down 2 weeks later from undercover walking through the woods for building a fort in the woods, which is not illegal.
They were building a fort in the woods, so they were searched and then arrested?
Yep. Hellish shit.
But they were just building a fort?
Yeah.
have to say what year you graduated, but do you mind?
Oh, I can say it.
Or what graduating class?
2012.
Graduating class of 2012.
Yep.
And you were one of the original students who erected forts in the woods.
Yeah, and so we ended up building these forts just as like a place to hang out and whatnot,
And that was in 2012?
it was in 2011, 2012, so it took a while to make some of them. Like, we had one that was a teepee one, and it was lined with hay and had a little fire pit. And then we had the second one that was over the river, if you go across it. That one, I don't remember what we called it, but a lot of people got that one mixed up with Davy Jones, and that was the third one we ended up building was Davy Jones, and that was the one that everyone knows about.
Davy Jones Locker?
Yeah.
Which is what younger students call simply the locker.
Yeah, the locker.
And where was the locker?
The locker was if you go in Wauwatosa in the parking lot by the Little Red Bookstore or whatever, and you keep going past that bridge, and then you take a left and keep on going through the woods, and then, I don't know, about 5 minutes of walking, you're there. And it was at first hidden because none of the kids were burning stuff and taking it down, so it was like cleverly like hidden where there was a bunch more trees before people started breaking them and, you know, using it as wood. And we built that there, so it looked kind of like it was an open kind of fort, you know, so it's like that's why they call it the locker, because it was kind of square shaped. So that took about, I don't know, 3 months to make.
Well, the one right by the bridge, right by Harmony Bridge, right? That's the one you're talking about.
Yeah, what was that?
I can't remember
the hammock's over in Jacobus, like halfway down one of the side streets. And the Kush Cabin is, if you go all the way out by Freighter and turn at the where the stoplights are, you take it right down that road and you can see like an energy tower. And you gotta go all the way down that road and then take a left and just walk into the woods a bit, and that's where it was.
Do you guys know what happened to the park bench?
Which park bench?
There's a bridge by the football field, and you go across that, and you go right up into the woods, and you go down a little ways, and then there's like a giant ass hill, like right off to your left, and you go down the hill, and TP was right there.
You can see it.
I remember that.
All these places got busted and half the shit's tore down by now, but...
Oh yeah, they've taken down every single one of the places.
The cops burned it?
Yep. We went there one day and
it was just ashes.
It was ashes. All that was left is a fire pit.
What kinds of things would you do with the forts?
Like, in what way?
Just what you would just chill at the fort?
We would just chill at the fort, you know, have a fire, grill some hot dogs or something, you know, relax.
Just do teenager things?
Just pretty much do teenager things, and we always had a garbage bag for if anyone brought beer or anything. That way we wouldn't litter.
So you were respectful?
Yeah.
You were respectful.
We always cleaned up after ourselves, so, you know, if the cops did come, or anyone that was walking by, they would just go in there and be like, oh, some kids just built this in the woods, you know? And
when did you first start hearing about possible police intervention?
Whatever we were told, we already knew. We were ahead of the game. We knew about that.
You knew it was coming?
We didn't really know it was coming, but we kind of knew police would be active in those spots.
You just figured that it would eventually draw attention.
Yeah, we figured it would eventually draw attention. Yeah. We came in didn't knowing how severe it was already. So we didn't know it was almost at a high point. We thought it was at the very beginning, you know.
What do you mean by severe?
You know, where, you know, you feel the potential for the huge bust, the crackdown, you know. You feel that potential of that one big arrest that just goes throughout the school, throughout the community.
Were kids talking about it?
So you built the forts in 2011.
Yeah.
What year did the cops come? That same year?
2013. 2012, it was like at the end of the year at 2012, and it went on to 2013 in the summer is when it got really, really bad, because in the fall, you know, when you're still in school, it was still hush-hushed. And then, you know, word got around, and people started fucking, like, these teenagers started coming by, and we'd be like, who the fuck are they? Like, how they know about this? And, you know...
So you say teenagers, how old were you and how old were they?
I was 18, and these kids must have been freshmen. Sometimes Longfellow kids, like 8th graders, 7th graders.
And what kinds of things would they do?
Well, they would, you know, when we were in the woods, we'd be quiet. We'd be respectful so no one would know, you know. And these kids would come along, and fucking scream, yell, laugh really loud, you know, just do disrespectful shit, like break trees and stuff where people could hear, and like leave booze bottles around, clothes, shoes, fucking like you name it. Like they would just not, you could tell someone was there. And then, you know, that summer, obviously because all the teenagers are off.
The summer of
2013 is when all of the kids, you know, they're like, oh, we're gonna hang out, you know, I want to hang out at my house, my parents are home, you know, blah, blah, blah. And so then we started noticing that they would come around and like, you know, first start off as like 5, you know, teens, and the next thing you know, like 6, 7, 10 groups. And, you know, we're just thinking, okay, like if we see that many people going in the woods, that looks suspicious. Like, what are you doing in the woods? Like gathering mushrooms or something? Like, no, like that's weird. So I think that's what caused a lot of people to kind of pay attention to that area, was because you'd see a bunch of these teenagers just walk in the woods and they wouldn't come out for hours.
And that area was around Harmony Bridge, the Baja, that area.
Yep.
Yeah, they all just really started getting super busy.
And same with the
cops found out.
Kush Cabin and Ash's shack, because
That's
they were
what
looking
happened.
for
They got
some.
super busy, and then cops found out because it was too loud.
And how many forts were, to your knowledge, were in the Baja area?
2.
2. And did you ever hear about forts in Hart Park?
Yeah, well, we did before. It was the first one that we made. That was by the, you know, hospitals, and then you'd go down to the cemetery and keep going. That's where the first one was. So it wasn't where any kids could come just walk down from their house, you know, whatever. So it was kind of like that one was more discreet. But obviously the cops must have found out. I don't know how. It wasn't from any of us, but they ended up burning that down. But they didn't know how many fucking forts were actually in the woods, because like how many people go in the woods. You know what I mean?
I believe this area is still a little active. You can see the trash. Trash. Trash.
Years ago, shit got kind of sketchy. You had to like watch what you were doing more in the woods. And then last year we just went way too hard. Like we went way too hard, honestly.
So, you know, and then it started getting more attention in the summer 2013 is when it got really, really bad. I mean, there was also another fort by the hammock is what they call it, but it wasn't really a fort that we made. It was just a hangout that we created. And, you know, people started finding about that, and then the cops would always come down there, you know, because 2013 these kids went from Davy Jones' locker to, you know, the hammock, because that's where we would go. We're like, fuck this, they ruined it for us, it was hot, you know, you'd go down there just to like even chill at Davy Jones' locker, and next thing you know, fucking there'd be like 2 cops in the woods just walking around, and you're like, what the fuck, this is sketch, you know?
But that fucked us up because of snitches. But I don't know, snitches work together with the police way too much.
Dude, you would see about cop car 2 or 3. They'll pull up, you know, maybe one with sirens, but most of the time without sirens. Unless you could tell it was like a suspect commotion, then the sirens would come off. But when it came to the drug bust, and when it came to, you know, putting a crash on those hangouts, they would pretty much be very silent and fast.
Ever hear about cameras in the trees in Jacobus Park?
There weren't cameras in the trees.
That was just a rumor.
That's bullshit. That's just kids fucking taking drugs and not handling their alcohol or getting way too paranoid from smoking weed or whatever. So that, you know,
And from being afraid of the police.
And from being afraid of the police, because, I mean, it's not rocket science. I mean, the fucking Wauwatosa police station is right in Wauwatosa, so it takes literally 5 minutes for them to get down there, and some cops post out by the Little Red Bookstore anyway. So you see these kids going, you're like, oh, well, I don't hear anything over the radio, so let's go check this out, you know? And then I'm sure they walked by and heard fucking a bunch of kids in the woods, and they're like, what the fuck, you know? It takes like 5 minutes to find it.
Okay. So I was down at the hammock one time with a couple of friends, and we were, you know, doing things we weren't supposed to be doing, and, you know, we hear cars roll up by the street, and so, you know, of course we're listening because we don't want to get caught doing anything, and the car turns off, and then doors slam, and then, you know, we wait a minute, and we hear these dogs barking. Like, it had to be like 3 or 4 dogs barking. And so we started running, and we took like the long way out or whatever, because we were terrified, and we ran to the street where the car was, and we didn't see any squad cars or any officers, and it was so weird. And then we like peeled off, and we were going down the street, and where it intersects with another street, you know, we passed that, and then a cop comes from the right, and he just tails us for about like 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah, we were just hanging out, having a good time, and all of a sudden we see these bright flashlights, just like 5 of them, just like in different parts of the woods, like trying to find out where we were. And then we put out the
night.
Yeah, we put
pitch black.
Yeah, pitch black, and we had like a tiny little fire inside the, you know, the fort. So they
Where
would,
exactly?
Davy Jones.
Okay. The locker.
So yeah, the locker. And we had a tiny little fire where you couldn't be able to see it because we were all huddled around it, so it wasn't like a big one or anything. And like, so we put that out and quickly ran across the river, and then we saw they like have found out, you know, and then they all gathered up, and then we saw just like them in a row just looking out everything, and we just heard them, you know, just like talking and stuff, and they posted out there for a good like hour, and we were like, we're not gonna go back there because that's fucked up. So.
And he just dipped out, and I don't know where he went, but he wasn't behind us anymore. And we went home to be safe.
2013 was the baddest because we no longer could hang out there anymore because there'd be cops posted up like more than usual, like at rounds every 15 minutes. And, you know, we'd go down there and there'd be you'd hear about girls like fucking stripping down, running naked in the woods because I guess these kids were in the woods and Davy Jones' locker. And I guess they got way too drunk, and it was about 3 guys, 4 girls, I think, and all of a sudden the cops busted them, and there was a bunch of girls just running naked through the woods, running away from them. So, like, that would made it hot for a bit because those are underage girls. And so we were like, fuck that, like, that's really messed up, like, this is why we shouldn't have younger kids come down there, like, they fucked it for us then.
Because they had like bonfires and shit out there, so you could like see the smoke, and they played loud music and shit, so that got busted.
I'd say it's understandable why they would put effort forward to say, yeah, we're gonna knock down the things, even just as to say you're not welcome here.
We started hearing bizarre stories, like kids taking like Klonopin and stuff and being like zombies and snorting it and shit, and you go down there, because Michael and I went down there, and also we see about like, I don't know, 20, maybe 15 kids just all walking around like zombies, and we're like, what the fuck? And I guess someone called the cops because I don't know, maybe one of their parents fucking were like, you know,
like, yo, like, you know, we're just gonna keep sending the message, you know, in the perspective of the police and whoever else, is because people like to walk through those woods and they see it littered with trash and they think drunken teenagers, you know, they walk through there and it smells like pot and it's, you know, and it's loud.
Outside of the crackdown, the illegal searches, the discriminatory stopping.
I felt like it was necessary for them to do that because...
You feel like it's necessary for them to illegally search
No, not that. Not illegally search them. I'm talking about, I think they did the right thing as far as, like, ruining the fort. Because, one, they... As far as they know, like, you know, they wanted to save whatever is left in the woods still. Because if it's, you know, part of me goes, I wish it was still there, but I wish there weren't those disrespectful kids burning and breaking woods down just to have fire. Like, you know, like, that's, I miss it because it was a nice place to hang out, you know, peaceful. But these kids ruined it, And, you know, if it was still going on there, like, what would have happened? Could someone have died of alcohol poisoning? Would someone get way too messed up in the woods? What if someone fell and broke their leg? Then what? Are you just going to leave them there and fucking, you're good, you're on your own? Like, you know, these are things you have to ask yourself. Like, yeah, they're the cops. But, like, they kind of did a good thing there, like, with taking it down, because I'm sure, you know, that's not a place you should be hanging out every day.
It's not like that anymore, because what happened, you had Tosa Police Department, Wauwatosa Police Department officers, you know, walking through these woods where ultimately there wasn't violent crime. There were not handguns being dealt. There weren't drugs being grown. They was just kids coming together with the little money they had and the little drugs they had, and, you know, however dishonest their means, there were kids that didn't necessarily have a place. Yeah, they could commit crimes, but, you know.
The Kush cabin was, it was right by the railroad tracks, and they were looking along the railroad tracks for this kid that had run away from home, and then they found it.
And you had these officers walking through there with, you know, with vests and shotguns.
Yeah.
They had reason enough to come search it. So I guess they got raided with, like, you know, 9 or 10 cops, I don't know, a bunch. And
the kids were frying off their ass.
Kids were scared.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, it's scary. It's a reason to not be in those woods when that happens. But
I'm not quite sure how the hammock got busted, but the only reason the TP got broken in a storm and nobody rebuilt it, and then the slant got burned down.
And they fucking, one of them had a thing of gasoline and a fucking torch thing, and they fucking lit it on fire.
You guys the younger cop, the one that had braces, and I can't even remember his name anymore. He asked the sergeant if they wanted to fuck up the place.
And they destroyed it. They knocked over all the wood in like a pile and burnt that, and then they fucking, like, they left the cans or whatever, but like...
Oh my god.
The one younger guy was really into it, and the older guy was like, "No, this is the nicest spot they've had. We're not gonna fuck this one up."
There were a few people that ran away, like, kind of like across the river type shit, watch it happen, because it was still daylight. It was like, I don't know, in the afternoon.
It was daylight. This was broad daylight.
Yeah, they didn't do it at night because that'd be harder to find them.
that isn't the sign of a functional, integral society. You know, that's a point at which it becomes useful to ask ourselves what's not working anymore.
Park?
Yeah.
Basically, what I know of it is that the officers, this is all hearsay, but I have seen officers, for lack of a better word, trolling in the woods. But they, from what I've heard, they actually would kind of stake out, you know, when the forts were least active, when people weren't really there, and then they took that opportunity to destroy the forts.
Mostly cops would post up, you know, in the parking lot. You know, it'd be, you know, rounds every 15 minutes, and then it'd be 2 cop cars, and then next thing you know, the one time they had a canine unit. And I can understand that because dogs can, I don't think they're really looking for drugs, more so people. So because, you know, sometimes, especially in the dark, like, you can get lost in the woods. You know, you may hear them, you know, and it may sound like they're closer, but they're really, like, somewhere else, you know. So at one point they used a canine unit, and, you know, it's just, it got really, really hot, and then we stopped hanging out there, and then we'd hear stories of kids getting way too messed up, couldn't handle their drugs or whatever, and then that's when the rumor started going around that there were cameras in the trees. And we all knew there were cameras in the trees. It was just kids being paranoid. And, I mean, the truth be told, there were no cameras in the trees, but there were cops all the time. Like, there would be undercover cops in the woods. And then, so we stopped hanging out there, and then eventually we heard it got busted, and the cops, like, I'm talking like a squad.
And they would just, I mean, you would just come across these big piles of sticks and branches and logs, and it was just weird. Like, it just looked like someone hacked down a tree right there. And I mean, regardless of them tearing down the forts, yeah, the drug activity did lessen, but that was in part because of increased police presence. I mean, the police knew that everyone was smoking weed.
And that doesn't make the rest of the concerned population feel safer, does it?
No, but I mean, either way, the destruction of these forts didn't directly contribute to stopping drugs. I mean, yeah, they knew where they hung out. Yeah, they knew where everything was, but in reality, they were gonna smoke pot or drink alcohol or smoke tobacco in those woods with or without the forts. I mean, I personally thought that the forts were kind of cool. You know, like, if someone from out of town, you'd be like, oh, let's go to the forts, I can show you some really cool stuff.
Like, at least there's that.
Yeah,
This is welcome to Tosa.
But, like, this little forts, like, they were actually really nicely constructed, too. Like, these people put hours of their time into building this. Days, even.
Oh, Kush Cabin? Do you remember Kush Cabin with the floors that were inlaid stone?
I don't think...
You like, Kush Cabin, like, it had, like, the seats were, like...
I've heard of it. I've heard of Kush
And it had a
Cabin.
fire pit in the middle.
Yeah,
and the floor was, like, mosaic. Like, I remember there being... It was an organizational effort. It was the type of...
Yeah.
It was labor. It was like these people...
Yeah.
You'd think they were being paid the way that they were doing it, but it was like... No, they were doing it because it was like, no, this is so we can sit here and do our thing. And, you know, when they came through with the... those people were never like, yo, we're gonna come here to ruin your this and that and ruin your time. Like, I mean, sure, people can be... People can... You know, and they tended to be because they were steady afraid of the police.
Yeah, like, it really took away a lot of creativity, a lot of inspiration, a lot of an opportunity for togetherness.
I don't think it really was more so taking away. It's what they took away from us. Like, the community, it didn't affect the community at all. Like, I mean, it affected really Mother Nature in the woods. Like, that's the one thing that really is the big problem there, is, like, not only being disrespectful, but if you're gonna, like, drink beers down there, throw away the cans in a bag or something. Don't leave it out there for people to know you've been there. And, you know, these kids just leave a bunch of mess, like clothes, fucking phones sometimes, like, and, you know, IDs sometimes fall out of the pocket, and it's like, oh, these kids are barely fucking 16, 17, and they're doing this shit, like, I wonder what's going on down here, you know, and it's more so how it affected the community, but it was definitely a place where a lot of the teenagers that went to Tosa East would hang out.
Because when you go down to those forts, I mean, you have completely separate groups of people. Like, if you take a look at the little cliques and groups within the high school, I mean, although a lot of those groups, I've seen 4 separate groups of people from each group coming together and
I hear now it's just mainly like ghetto ass kids.
Yeah.
That's the funny thing.
The locker was fucked up. The one by the bridge was fucked up. Actually burned down, and Kush Cabin was severely destroyed by the sheriff.
That place was fucked up.
Described it as a crackdown.
Oh, it was definitely a crackdown. I mean, there's no going around it. I mean, there were parents that would always call these kids, and I'm sure they have trackers on their phone, and they would find out, they drive or whatever, and be like, where the hell is this? They're in the woods. So like, what the fuck? I can't find them anywhere near Tosa, you know? And some of these kids would be gone, like, you know, partying for, like, on the weekend for, like, let's say they'd go out Friday night and not come home till, like, Sunday. And, you know, their parents were like, where the fuck are you? You know, like, damn near called the cops because I was worried about you, you know?
Yeah, the cops were assholes.
Yeah, the cops were assholes. They fucked everything up. But, I mean, I was never personally there when any of them got raided.
Yeah.
Because once it started getting, like, too many people were going there, I just said, fuck it, I'm not going to chill there because it's going to get busted, and I was just being smart about it.
I went there once and I got some of the best hash of my fucking life. I'm so serious.
I only went there twice, and then it got busted out by the cops, and then it got burned down.
Danny, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, what's up?
How do you think that it would be sketchy to like go back to the places Adam said got busted, like to see what's left?
Probably not. Probably not. I mean, if you're just walking, I mean, shit, you're just walking, just don't be stupid.
Yeah. Why do you think the cops are still there? You think they busted it already? You think the cops are still there?
I'm sure they're not just lurking around there. Like, they're just.
Oh, I had to do that at fucking work the other day. I had to use like a spade and I just ran it down the sidewalk.
So Tyler, where are we going exactly? You said Africa, it's a spot in the woods? It's a spot in the woods?
Yeah. Well, it's like a general area of woods. It's really, we've gone there in like a snowstorm before.
It's really pretty.
Is it a popular? It hasn't been busted.
No, no one else goes there.
No one else goes there.
There's like a ton of snow up to it.
Yeah.
It's like deep west.
So it's gonna be a little trek.
Yeah.
Yeah, then what do you do with that?
And all this snow is like wet as shit.
I got to keep $1 and I got to keep me a pistol.
How deep?
Oh, it's fucking deep, dude. I mean,
Oh shit, it's deep. Look at this kid run. Damn!
No cop's giving me a ticket. I don't own a car. I don't own a car, bro.
I don't want to talk about it with you. Like, I don't. Do you hear the words coming out of my mouth?
Bro, you act like every situation is a sketchy situation.
No. I'm done with this conversation. Like, I seriously do not want to talk about it right now.
Alright, bro. You're baby now.
No. It's not that. It's just I don't want to argue about that because like it's not gonna go anywhere.
I'm not arguing. I'm just saying.
No, that's what it's gonna be. That's why I haven't said anything because I'm gonna argue with you. If
yeah, because you're the one that's the aggressor. I'm not gonna get mad, bro.
Bye.
more about their redaction policy, and I saw that in a Wauwatosa Now article you commented on it saying that we're close to having secret arrests.
Well, it has to do with the redaction of information from accident police reports that have been happening around the state.
Okay.
And that has to do with a federal court ruling 2012 that Palatine, Illinois, for some reason Wisconsin law enforcement are interpreting that decision to mean that they're not supposed to be releasing information that they get from driver's licenses. And that means that you could potentially put someone in jail if it has happened and not legally be arrested.
And what is the danger of this? Like, do you think this is like a real possibility, or?
Well, I think it does amount to just secret arrest. If you're putting people in jail and not saying what their name is, secret arrest. But I can tell you that I know there have been accident cases where they haven't revealed who the driver is. You know, even high-profile ones. There was one in some community where they wouldn't even say the name of the driver. Was involved in I think it was even a fatal accident. Coming up with your guy. I don't know what the policy of Wauwatosa Police Department is on redactions. This may or may not be the same phenomenon that stems from the 2012 federal court ruling. Okay. There may be other factors that are coming into play that affect what the department is releasing or what it's not releasing. But I can tell you statewide the biggest issue is that people are looking at this court decision and deciding that they're not supposed to release any information that they get from driver's licenses, even names, even ages, even dates of birth, even basic stuff like that.
Alright,
Listen to the words I say. I feel it going round your head, I'm answering. You think you were better than I thought it too. What the fuck's going on?
It's good.
It's time coming through. I don't fuck the whole life, but the time ain't through. And don't fuck the law of reckless.
Just saying hi.
What's going on?
Nothing. I just made awkward eye contact.
So is he like your cameraman for when you guys do your Bud Light? Yeah. That. Alright. You seem like the type that you guys that like go down the street playing the game.
I'm sick of all the things.
drug bust, even if it's like not even anything. Like that sounds good because that's what people want to hear. People don't want to hear, oh, parking lot adds new speed bumps, or you know, animal saved out a tree. No, that's not what the people want to hear. They want to hear something that sounds good.
Is it the culture more so, or is it the substances themselves? You know,
it's kind of like,
what do you condemn, basically, is what I ask.
what I condemn is that, you know, if it weren't for those kids, we would still have a nice place to hang out and be respectful to it, and, you know, this, that, and the other. And it's kind of like pisses me off because it's like, you know, I'm just thinking it's been 3 years since that happened. Okay, like, I mean, I watch it. I built this beautiful hangout, you know, and it's like my baby almost. It was our baby, you know, and we watched it, you know, we watched it just go down. And it's like, now is it safe to go hang out in the woods at all now in Tosa? No, because people fuck that up for people that just want to walk in the woods after a long day at work, people that want to walk their dog, or like, you know, whatever, maybe, you know, read a book in the woods, smoke a cigarette, who the hell cares? But like, now we can't do that at all because these younger kids thought it was cool to, you know, have a damn party every damn day down there and not be respectful to, you know, the surroundings, more so people that live around there, you know. And I'm just thinking, if that didn't happen, it would still be there. And, you know, you can't take that back. And I feel like maybe history might be repeating itself because, like, maybe, who knows, maybe I might go in the woods sometime and not anywhere near Tosa, maybe in, like, Jacoba's area or something, and make another fucking tree for it. But it's like, kind of like, do I want to? Because, you know, I just miss having it? Or is it because it's just sad to see it go down the way it went down? And, you know, I would love to make a fort again, but it's like, I wonder how many people are going to find out about that fort, you know, and...
Some things should be public record, like number of arrests. They say there's not a quota, but then everybody kind of knows there is. It's one of those things that everybody knows about, but nobody really talks about, so... It's just that share of information. It's not looking, like, completely sketchy, but it's just being open and saying, hey, we're doing this, and you're doing this. Let's all gather our information together. Maybe not even including names or ages or anything like that. Just let's just say, oh, we arrested this many kids at this place for this, or these kids or some kids go up to the officers saying, hey, we saw an officer do this, this, and this. It should be an equal share of information.
I see him busting people all the time, bro.
Where? Just all over?
On the street. Like, I always see him pulling people over. A lot. Because he's a dick face. It's just what he wants to do.
He's got a couple quotas to meet, apparently.
That he sets for himself.
Is it necessarily true that there is a quota, or is it an obligation by the officer? Because personally, with my job, like, there's not a quota you have to yell at these many kids, like, running and all that other stuff. Like, there's no quota, but you feel obligated because it's your job. And if you don't, like, if I don't make a med call in a while, then I'll just pick it up and yell at someone to make it look like I'm doing my job. So is it necessarily that there's a quota, or is there an obligation by the officer for job protection?
I think it's both. Because, yeah, you have to do your obligation as a city police, but I think there's some things that go more and above and beyond what just the regular thing for the police department is, and that's where I think quotas come from. It's not the number of arrests or the number of tickets they give out. I just think it's a quota of action that they do, whether it's checking up on calls, writing tickets, arrests, whatever it is, as long as they're actively doing their job above and beyond what just the basic obligation is. I think the public should be able to know that.
Well, and here's my issue with the obligations, though.
Rule. I think that's more just an obligation by the officer. I don't think it's put on by the actual department.
Yeah, but see, my issue with the whole obligations thing is, like, I understand you want to, like, do your job and, like, make sure, like, your boss or whatever knows you're doing your job. But if there is honestly, like, nothing, and, like, you just, like, see some random person and you're just gonna, like, all of a sudden do your job even though that person's not doing anything, that's wrong. You shouldn't just,
People
like...
are always doing something wrong.
Well, you shouldn't be doing that, especially
if you want to
if
call
you're...
them out on it or not.
Yeah, but I mean, like, especially for a cop, like, imagine being just, like, a kid, like, not doing anything wrong, going on a walk, and all of a sudden getting stopped, and, like, being told by cops that they're going to search you, and you're just standing there like, I haven't done anything wrong. Like, it's not even past curfew, I have nothing on me, I am just going on a walk, and all of a sudden cops are just like, we need to search you. Like, that's wrong, and you shouldn't do that.
Yeah. Ian, did you have a statement?
I mean, well, when it comes to, like, the stops and searches of people, they say it's, like, random but there's profiling in everything that everybody does. Like, whether you're a car salesman, having the ability to tell if that person is actually going to buy a car or not, or whether you're a police officer saying, oh, there's a group of kids that look like they could be stoners, let's stop and search them.
If you're just eyeing them down, they're going to be like, oh, what's up? What's up, guys? What you guys up to? You guys looked at me really suspiciously. What you guys up to? Any drugs in the car? Oh my god, no! I swear to god, they're not mine. There's my dogs! It's theirs! They told us to do it.
My dog has cancer!
Bitch, please.
I think it's the exact same thing with just instinctual, but I think taking your instincts is going way too far in certain situations, especially when it involves the police and searches. Because to search somebody is an invasion of the privacy under the Fourth Amendment. And I think, unfortunately, a lot of cops get away with it, whether it's here in Tosa or just everywhere around the country, because so many people are not, especially kids, are not completely informed on their rights. So it's just like you have to know what your rights are before you can have problems with people, you know?
Like, if someone that already does drugs snitches and gets $50, they're probably going to go spend it on drugs. That's how it always works. Like, it's just like with, like, hard drugs being legalized. Like, if, like, heroin was legal, I'm not going to go out and do heroin, but...
It's not so much about the culture, it's the fact that it's kind of a bit of both. The drug scene and the culture, because the drug scene kind of makes up the culture and its end result. You know, you have a bunch of these kids that, you know, move on to weed, booze, whatever, and then they get into the harder stuff like Molly, and then they, you know, you step up further, and now a big thing in Tosa is heroin, I guess. From
like, some people will. Yeah. But, like, there's always gonna be a small percentage that's gonna, like, throw off, like, anything.
How do you feel about the police in Tosa? Do you believe that they're doing more than what their job should, like, tells them to do, or?
I feel like the Tosa police are a bunch of people that sit around a lot and really have bare minimum to do when it comes to, like, cases to work on, so I think they spend too much time just trying to bust kids.
More so, you can't really rely on police in that way. Like, they're here to protect you and stuff, but they also can hurt you. Like, I mean, let's say they step up the security or whatever, and there are more cops, but it's like, what if you're that one person that has something they're not supposed to have because they don't know about the situation? Then what? You get a ticket, then what? Like, that's gonna be with you forever. Like, you know, and your life could be ruined just because you made one stupid mistake.
For things that, well, whether you can argue for marijuana legalization or not,
just because it's legal doesn't mean that people are gonna do it.
Whether it's just a kid doing something, it's not that kid going out and being destructive. If that kid's going out and being destructive, it's not because of that, it's because he wants to go be destructive and just be rebellious. It's not something like that, and I just think they spend way too much time on busting kids for stupid things when there's a lot more problems.
You know, it's just, it's crazy to watch all these kids, you know, one day, you know, your drug dealer goes, hey man, like, I don't have any more weed, or do you want to try this thing called boy? And they're like, what's that? Oh, I'll show you. Just like crush it up and snort it, or shoot it up, you know, whatever the person that introduced you to that does. So it's like, you know, then what? Then what? You know, because it doesn't take that long for you to get hooked to that shit, you know. I mean, it's sad because you watch some of these normal kids that are, you know, honor roll, fucking, you know, never miss a day of school, blah blah, and they start missing more school, and they start, you know, oh, it was a weekend thing, now they do it on the weekdays, now they do it every day, and it's just like, you know, to watch someone get onto that stuff is just sad because it's like almost like a beautiful disaster.
No, I do it sometimes.
That makes no sense. I wouldn't do.
Control yourself.
I wouldn't do heroin. I don't even want to try heroin because they said there's no trying heroin. There's doing heroin. Like once you do it the first time, like that's it. That you're doing it. You're doing heroin.
Cause you were like, oh, this is a drug. It's awesome.
Well, it's
You're
like
on it,
and you see
you forget about like.
Well, the first time is probably like the best high too, but
And you chase that.
Yeah.
You know, you're like, that person was so good before, and this and that, and you can't help but watch them crumble because what can you do other than be like, hey man, I'm here for your support, you know, this, that, and the other. But it's like half these kids or their friends gonna be like, oh, I'll be with you through when you're going through that shit. Like, no, they're not. Like, that's a lot of these fake friends in high school. They think they're your friends, they're your best friends, they got your back no matter what. But what happens when you get busted with something? Are they gonna blame it on you? Oh, that's his stuff, it's not mine. They're gonna throw you under the bus just as fast because they're not really your friends.
Exactly. That's why coke is so addictive.
But you mean crack?
I mean, Officer told us he's done over 10,000 searches, I think he said, and he has yet to have to get a warrant because he uses loopholes. So I mean, I just think they look too much for loopholes to get away with things, and that it needs to be noticed and it needs to be corrected.
I've had this conversation with my father, who was a police officer, telling me, hey, if you ever get pulled over by the police and they say, can we search your car? It is your right to say, no, you can't search my car, and they can't do shit about it. Just because you're on the street doesn't mean that they can be like, oh, we're gonna search your car. That doesn't.
The room, and Officer came in, and he was talking about his right to search people, and he asked the class how many searches he'd done, and everybody was like 100. And some people were like 500, and I just shouted out 1,000, and he pointed right at me and said, 1,000 people he have searched, probably more. Anyways, he was talking about teenagers in Wauwatosa is known for having, you know, teenagers who smoke a lot of pot, and he said that minors have no rights. So, any civil rights that a minor might have are, I don't think, he pretty much said that the Constitution doesn't apply to minors.
How do you feel about that?
It's bullshit.
I don't know. He's a fuck. Cause I don't know. Officer Griff, he never would like. I mean,
yeah, he was dope.
Officer Griff never was in people's businesses, bro. Like, I mean, unless something happened at the school right then and there.
Yeah, or if he saw you do something.
Or if he saw you do something, Griff would act on that. But like, Griff would never try to like investigate or like he would never try to get shit out of kids. Like he would never try to exactly. He would never like scheme against
they
the
don't
kids.
Time
like
for that shit.
Like he would never be like so like basically just interrogating kids and scaring the shit out of them.
Yeah,
like to make them say something. He's just got an intimidating personality.
Walk by his
like
hallway or his door with red eyes and just run past, basically.
I'd look at
going to band.
I'd look at him and I'd just look at him and I'd be like this. And I'd always make it a point to look. If I saw his door open, I knew that he was in there. So anytime I'd walk past, I'd make it a point to look and just not even open my mouth, say anything. I'd just look and give him the eyes. And my eyes were glazed as fuck all the time. So I'd walk right into band.
Dude, when he walked in, you were in there. Did he walk into band one day?
Yes, and scare the shit out of me.
Dude, I know, me too. Me and Billy were in the other room, and our eyes were bad.
Eyes were bad
Billy
that day.
was literally next to the door, and oh my God, I'm gonna go to jail.
Yeah.
Like, I was just freaking out.
Dude, that shit scares me all the
because
time.
of the iPhone.
All the fucking time.
So what? He just seeks marijuana.
No, not even.
Not that time. Not that time.
Not even
he was
marijuana.
Like, being a real cop for once.
Not even marijuana. It's just everything. He's always
they
trying
all
to
do acid too.
Bro,
they
he's just trying to get. He's just
definitely a lot to do with peers.
A lot to
Like
do with
you know,
peers.
you have these older kids that are like, oh, I got Adderall, like want to fucking crush them up and snort it so we can drink longer. Like that would become a thing in Tosa. It did at one point. Like these kids want to stay up later, and one person has a script for Adderall. And next thing you know, they're fucking tweaking out, drinking, and drink a little too much because they're all speeded out, and it just definitely has a lot to do with peers because you as a young person you see these older kids and you want to be cool like them. You want to do what they do, and what they do is like maybe the harder stuff like coke or heroin or fucking like you name it, or take Molly or whatever. And they keep in mind that like more so they have to keep in mind these older kids like, hey, they're kind of looking up to us, like we should be a role model, and it's not like that at all. It's like they try to outdo each other. Like, oh, I heard he drank a whole bottle of vodka and then took like some Molly and then like dude almost died. Like it's like they always have to one up each other to the extreme, to the point of like, oh my god, I had to go to the hospital and get my stomach pumped. It's like that's not it's like a game with these kids.
It's just trying to give tickets. He likes to arrest kids and give tickets. That's what
Why?
That's
because it's his stats, bro. He probably looks at it like those are his stats,
and he likes the feeling of power.
Yeah.
He likes.
So it's not, like for a justice type thing.
I don't think so.
No, dude, he's not doing it like I'm saving. Maybe he sees himself as a.
He's not a good.
As a super, almost like a good
super cop,
like a super cop, like almost like a good guy. Like,
well, the MPD has like, I don't know, 700 or 900 officers, and Wauwatosa has less than 200. You would think there would be a higher number of problem officers in Milwaukee than Wauwatosa, wouldn't you? I mean, and then there are well-known problem individuals in smaller departments around, individuals who sexually harass, stuff like that. People who abuse their power, but usually they're one person or, and I think those cases are relatively unusual in a small department. Do you think so? Or, I mean, does it seem likely that when you have many more officers, you can have many more problems?
That shit's hard.
Yeah, but think about the practicality of it. Is it really practical to be like, oh wait, you're doing something illegal, just wait your time, wait your day and I'll be back. Like, you have to have a way to do things immediately.
Particularly how it related to the crackdown. Yes, they probably had probable cause to go in there, but the way they went about it, how do you feel about that? Do you feel that there could have been a better way? Would you call that misconduct? If so,
I wouldn't call it misconduct. It's not that they came in there with like shotguns, blasting things up, like shooting bottles and stuff, and like, scaring the shit out of people that were there. I mean, there weren't really anyone there that they saw because they ran away really quickly, but the people that witnessed it, I mean, there's no really good way to raid or crack down on something. You kind of have to go in it one way and one way only. You can't go in it like, excuse me, knock, can you open the door? Like, can we come in please? That we have like 10 guys behind us. Like, no, they're gonna bust open the fucking door, catch you by surprise, cause whatever, and like that's how they get you, And then with the whole going in the woods thing and searching it is daytime. They probably thought these kids were in school. So that would be the safest way to do it rather than at nighttime, because they could have hurt someone or someone could have hurt them, or you never know. You can't plan out how those things are ever going to turn out, And I'm pretty sure they didn't want to take that risk of like shooting someone because they popped out of nowhere and scared the shit out of them. Like, no, that's just, you don't want to get your hands dirty with that. But like, I don't think they should have burned it down. Personally, like, because what if that caught on to other trees or something, and then what? Like, are they going to blame that on all the kids there? Or, like, what happened if you just happened to be in the woods, like, not even doing any of that stuff, and, like, they burned down the woods? Are they going to blame it on you? Right, you a fat-ass ticket? Like, what are you doing in here? Like, I'm just walking around the woods, officer, Like...
I mean, yeah, if, like, you can, like, see them doing something illegal and like you know what's going on, like that's fine. But the thing is, if they are like nothing is going on and you're just like, oh, like they look like hoodlums or whatever, so we're gonna go fuck with them. Like that's not okay. You can't just go like randomly fuck with people who aren't doing anything wrong.
Okay, but do you know that's what they're doing? I mean, it could be what they're doing, but you don't know what's going through their mind. Like, I feel like we're not credible people to say that an officer is doing, like, that the officer, like, there's things we are credible to say they're doing wrong, but like, we don't know what's going on in their heads, so we're not credible to say, like, we say like, oh, we're not doing anything wrong because we aren't doing anything wrong, but they may see it as a potential, or maybe they're seeing something that we're completely not noticing. So
we're all born in America, and I don't think there's anything that has been covered in the Supreme Court or anything like that that, you know, they talk about minors having their rights. So I think that it's, you know, it's wrong, and it, you know, it should be challenged anytime that a teenager is asked to be searched, because they do ask you to be searched. They ask you, like, you know, can I search your car, can I search you? And, you know, if they're giving you that, you know, if they're asking you that question, then why are they doing it in the first place? Why are they saying that you have no rights in the first place? If they're asking that question, you know, if they wanted to, they just pull you out of the car then, if we have no rights.
you have to walk in their shoes for a little bit too.
I get the whole walking in their shoes thing, but they take probable cause way too far a lot of times.
Why do you think he said that to the class then?
Just talking about, you know, probable cause and, you know, whatever ways that he can get at, you know, he can do his job, you know, to make money.
He's saving our kids and blah blah blah, yada yada yada, whatever. But like
all y'all,
no matter what you say, no one cop is not gonna eliminate all the drugs that there are at a school. Like no matter how, you could get 20 cops, you could have cops there all day. That's not gonna eliminate kids getting drugs in school. That's what's gonna happen. Like that shit happens all the time. Whether you think so or not, that shit just happens, and they will make it work. Like
whoever can get most fucked up the fastest, you win. It's like, what do you win? Popularity? Probably not. But like, you know, these kids that think they're popular just because they drink and they think they're cool and they smoke cigarettes and blah blah blah, and it's like they sleep with older dudes, and it's like you're really only hurting yourself because like, you know, they're not worried about you, so why the fuck are you worried about them? You know, you could drink and do all this other shit, get hooked on fucking who knows what, but how does that affect them? You know, they're doing it, seems to be doing good for them, but for you, it could affect you totally differently. Your world could be spiraling out.
Because a lot of times the probable cause, it's just, I had that gut instinct, or I got that feeling, or they can just come up with some BS reason about why they needed probable cause to detain that person, and then once you're detained, search that person. I mean, when does it stop for just as, where does it stop? Is it?
Well, that'll never stop. That's gonna happen for generations to come.
But then if you stop becoming a full car search,
okay, but think of this: if you're not doing anything wrong, then what's the big deal? The only time it becomes a problem is when you're doing something wrong and you know you fucked up, and now you know you're gonna get busted, and that's why.
That's not even it. That's ignorant sounding, because saying, well, if I'm not doing anything wrong, I shouldn't have a problem with it. No, it's still a violation of your rights if they illegally search you. It doesn't matter whether you are doing anything wrong or have anything on you. It's still a violation of the Constitution. People need to understand that. Take it farther than just, if it doesn't affect me, I don't care. Because someday it will affect you. So stop being ignorant and stop standing idly by while a lot of people have to deal with these problems, and it will be you someday. It's not just, oh, it's going to be that kid or it's going to be that kid, it'll never be me. It will eventually be you, because if we keep allowing them to go past this point of illegal searches, where is it going to stop?
That's all I got to say.
That's pretty pessimistic.
And see what in law enforcement, what you're taught is you're taught personal space. Have you ever been told about personal space? Okay, you're taught personal space. Personal space, excuse me. Personal space is 3 feet in. It's 3 feet in. 3 feet in, 3 feet out to 3 feet in. That's your personal space. Once they put hands on you and they haven't told you anything, they haven't given you any reason why they're stopping you, why they're frisking you, they are in violation of your personal space. That is a constitutional right. That is a human right. They are in violation of, at that point, they are in violation of your human rights. Now, proving it is another thing. Okay, because first of all, if it's just you and the police officer at 3 o'clock in the morning, who do you think the courts are going to believe?
The police officer.
There you go. Well, first off, what you have to understand is that in all law enforcement capacity, okay, whether you're a sworn law enforcement officer, which the Wauwatosa police are, or you're some rent-a-cop in Walmart, okay, you have to have probable cause to not only stop someone and speak with them, but also to it's called stop and frisk, okay? So we get into the frisk part, which is searching, okay? You have to have probable cause to do. It doesn't surprise me that probably a lot of youth that live in the city of Wauwatosa are getting stopped, okay? But again, when you look at it on the other hand, this is the city of Wauwatosa. It's a small municipality. It's probably a jurisdiction of 10 miles, if that. 7 to 10 miles in all directions. Okay, so on the flip side, looking at it from a law enforcement standpoint, what else do they have to do? Besides traffic stops and harassing adolescents, teenagers, what else does the Tosa Police Department have to do with their time?
Maybe the majority of the things that ever happen in Wauwatosa are like related with teenagers. Majority of it. Like, yeah, there's some other shit. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm sure there's other shit that I don't know.
That's what police officers are for.
But like, that's what police officers are for. That's what they're made for. But like, the majority of it, which is kind of sad, is
how long have
with
those things
teenagers.
been in?
Like, come on, bro. Like, we're fucking teenagers. Like.
Anytime it could be anything positive to help with the kids, what they can see from there's my mistakes or the next person's mistakes. I don't have to make the same mistakes all over.
What would you have to say to them about the mistakes?
About the mistakes that when I was, you know, everybody.
Well, dumbass invited all these people over, and then they got too loud or whatever happened. Somehow the cops got called, and then not putting bitch's shit on blast, but she opened the fucking door for the cops to come in. All these kids got fucking underage drinking tickets, and which they have to pay themselves, and because they were there and everything, they gotta pay a total of the tickets combined, added on to what all the kids have to pay.
Wow.
And then they gotta go through this booze it or lose it class so they can actually get their licenses and shit.
Were there any, like,
I heard that some kids can't graduate or can't walk across.
I don't know about. I didn't hear none of that. All I heard was a bunch of fucking
idiots got busted.
Yeah, and that like most of the basketball teams on athletic code right now. A bunch of the football players got athletic codes. It was all bad, man.
It's terrible.
They fucked up some people's lives.
How do you think that made Tosa District look, or Tosa look? Because that was a pretty big bust. That was what, 70 kids that got busted?
I haven't gotten an exact number from anybody.
Me either.
I've heard 68, 56.
That's what I've heard.
I heard there was like a tops of 90 people there at one time, but they weren't there when they all got busted. What I heard from people that were there, like 56 kids got underage drinking tickets.
Yeah.
But yeah, all those kids got busted and shit. They got their shit fucked up, really. Got their shit fucked up the most because they were sponsoring the party.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, I don't think they ever thought it was gonna get that big, but I get it's New Year's, I get you trying to have fun, but can't be doing that. That's some stupid shit, you know? But I think it made Tosa cops, it was like jackpot for them. Because they've never busted a group of kids like that before. Like, they got a couple of kids at party last year, which the details I'm a little fuzzy on still, because nobody really, even the people that were there don't really know what happened because everybody was so wasted. But, I mean, a lot of kids' shit got fucked, so they definitely are, they're sitting real nice right now. They're patting their high horses for sure.
They have nothing else to do. That's the main reason why they do it. A lot of it has to do with, because it's a multicultural thing, would you say?
Such a weird area, like everything is so, like nothing ever happens, like nothing ever happens. Every day is so like.
One thing I heard about Tosa, and I know about Tosa because I live here, is that like you could always hear all the sirens and everything coming from Milwaukee.
Yeah, and it's like.
But in Tosa, it's quiet. It's kind of eerie too.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I don't like that feeling. It's weird. I don't know. I definitely think that's right. Cut it.
It's been months since I wrote mine.
And I didn't, you know, do anything frantic, and I thought, you know, him trying to, I knew instantly though when he was doing it, because as soon as I came up to like right in front of the car, the dude turned on his car, and he turned on the lights, and he moved his tires, and he made it seem like he was about to come out, and like and then he turned left real fast, and then he went down that street, and he just booked it up north, and I was like, this dude was trying to scare me. I was like, that guy was so trying to scare me, because why did he have to pull off? He was sitting there for such a long time. There's no reason for him to pull off. He didn't speed off like he had a call or anything like that. And he turned his wheels like he was about to come and like try to pull up on me.
You guys don't know? Oh, I'm ashamed.
Oh, fuck, this blunt's not sticking to itself at all.
Too fucked up, man.
Dude, my hand, I'm only gonna be able to play like half of it though.
Just got
Flying home from Illinois like a front door boy. Got to sit down, take a rest on the porch. Imagination sets in. Pretty soon I'm singing. Do, do, do. Looking out my back door.
It's a white boy.
Shines still on high heels. Statues wearing high heels. Look at all the happy creatures dancing on the lawn. Dinosaur but stronger. Listening to Buck Owens. Do, do, do. Looking out my back door. Tambourines and elephants are playing in the band. Take a ride on my flying spool. No wondrous apparition. Can't competition.
Yeah, I can't do it because I'm too high as well. Oh, you got me on camera.
These bitches be bringing me hash browns, but I ain't put no cash down. Bitch, I smoke my hash brown and take it through the town with the collected nectar by the pound. Too broke to elope from this bitch, open up the cup with invertebrates and knock a shirt off and knock your jaw. Pop shots at y'all, teach your kids to fall to the call of the serpent. When those opening I'm hurting, they call me though like hot fire, but cool.
You tripped me out. I was like, what is that?
How long have you been recording there?